Welcome to my videos of horror. Hey guys, it's Cassie. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be my top 10 favorite horror films of all time. So far, really. So, stick around. Before we get started, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please hit that bell notification so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. So before we get started on the top 10, I want to do an honorable mention of 5 videos that were very close to my top 10 but didn't quite make it, and it was such a hard decision. It really was. I had a harder time with this list than I thought that I was going to, or really ever would. But whenever I started writing down my list and talking to my husband and my sister, and we were talking about horror movies, I was like, oh yeah. I even watched YouTube videos to see what everybody else's list was so that I could make sure that I was not missing any films that I had not thought of, or, you know, because there's so many good horror movies. Here are my 5 honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is Trick or Treat, and I know this didn't make my top 10. It was very close, like I said again. And Trick or Treat, whenever I first saw it, it's an amazing movie, and it's a movie that's not really like any other that I had seen before. Whenever I watched this movie, you didn't see everything coming in this movie, so I really liked that aspect of it. The next honorable mention is going to be The Descent. It's not just a typical, okay, we're going to go explore this cave. It has other there's other parts of the story that go with it, and I really like that about it. I really hate that these didn't make my top 10, but my top 10, are there for a reason. I do love them, basically. I love all of my top 10s. So, and I love all of these movies too, but I just love the top 10 a little bit more. My next honorable mention is Christine, and I love a lot of Stephen King films, so it's not a surprise that this one made it in my honorable mentions. Yeah, Christine is about a car that is possessed, and it's about the person who buys her becomes infatuated with her, and yes, really great acting. The story is really great, and like I said, it's another one of my favorites. The next honorable mention is a movie that I didn't see on I didn't see on anybody's list that of the YouTube videos that I watched where people had top 10 horror movie lists. It's one that I really love, and it's called Tales from the Darkside, the movie. They had a TV show that was called Tales from the Darkside, but they actually made a movie, and in the movie, this young boy, who is played by young Matthew Lawrence, he is kidnapped by this woman, and he basically tells her 3 tales to try and get her to let him go. I love the 3 tales, and it's got really great acting in it, and they're really kind of scary horror stories, and yeah, but it's really good as well. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you check it out. And it's Tales from the Darkside, the movie. Make sure you put the movie, because then otherwise you'll just get the show. Okay, so my last honorable mention is actually a movie I have not seen, and the reason it is going to be one of my honorable mentions is because it is on a lot of people's lists, and it is a movie I definitely want to see. It's actually on my sister's favorite list. It's actually her number 1 favorite horror movie, and so I was like, let's just make sure to do an honorable mention. So, but it is The Thing. Yes, I have never seen The Thing, and I didn't even realize that until I was watching other people's top horror movie lists, and I didn't even realize that it had Kurt Russell in it, and I'm a huge Kurt Russell fan, so I was like, wait, I need to see this movie. I can't believe I've never seen this. So I did want to at least put it on an honorable mentions list. But I will definitely make sure to watch The Thing very soon. Okay, so here we go. This is top 10. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous about my list. Starting at number 10 is Saw. Now this movie, I originally watched this movie because it had Cary Elwes in it. He played Wesley in The Princess Bride, which is my number 1 all-time favorite movie. It was really, whenever I was choosing my top 10, the 10th movie, it was between Saw and The Descent and Christine. I mean, I love the other 2 movies, but Saw, the reason I put Saw at number 10 was because how much I loved the movie, just the whole puzzle and trying to figure everything out, and how much it actually shocked me in the end, because I did not see that coming. Oh, and just so you know, I will not have any spoilers in any of these movies, so I know it's probably been all of these movies have been out a while, but there are still people that have not seen all of them, and so I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, because I literally hate any kind of spoilers. So number 9 is a classic horror movie, and it is A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I love this movie just because of the whole scary aspects of the dreams. And it's weird too, because I've only ever had one nightmare about Freddy Krueger, and that was actually whenever I was listening to a meditation tape, of all things. So I've never listened to a meditation tape again. So yeah. Now we have number 7. Number 7 is Silence of the Lambs. And the reason I love this movie is because I love psychological horror movies. I'm a big fan of them, and I love learning about, it's really weird, I love learning about serial killers and watching documentaries about them. So yeah, I love watching the movie just to see how everything works, how they actually, like psychologically, how everything works. I really enjoy those types of movies. Number 6 is a newer movie, and it is Cabin in the Woods. Now, Cabin in the Woods, whenever I first saw it, I thought it was going to be, hey, we're going to this cabin in the woods, and then these all like horrible, like, you know, things are going to happen and people are going to die kind of thing. But it was so much more than I thought it was going to be, and I would definitely recommend it for you to watch if you have not seen it. I think that I said that was number 6. So I might have to go and fix this again. Probably should have numbered these on my phone, because for some reason I was ahead of myself. Anyways, number 6. So number 6 is Final Destination, and I really had no kind of plan or expectations going into this movie. I did not see it in theaters. I actually waited until it came out on VHS. I think it was. Was it VHS at that time? But I originally saw this movie because I was a huge fan of Devon Sawa. I think it's Devon Sawa. The whole movie just kind of shocked me. So, just because of the things that you didn't see coming, it happened so fast, and I was like, whoa. I actually had to pause the movie on one part because it shocked me. It completely shocked me. Okay, guys, here are my top 5. We're now on my top 5. I'm really excited, but I'm also really nervous. Okay, so my 5th favorite movie is Fright Night. I did love the original with Chris Sarandon, but whenever they remade it and they made it a little bit, you know, they updated it, made it a little more scary, because the original is kind of campy. I really like that they updated it to make it more scary and a little more serious. It still has some funny aspects and stuff like that, but I really like that they updated it. And especially Anton Yelchin. Oh, rest in peace. And of course, I'm a huge David Tennant fan, so when I saw that he was in it, I was like, I have to watch this movie. Number 4 is Scream. And it was actually one of the, I think I saw it when I was 10 or 12. I can't remember if it came out in 94 or 96, somewhere in there. I guess the ending kind of from the beginning My mom immediately went, "How did you know that?" Because she was watching it with me, and because she had already watched it herself, and so we were watching it together. I do love slasher horrors, and I have seen all of the other three, because I know there's 4 total, but I have seen the second, third, and fourth one. The fourth one is iffy. I don't really care that much for it. I do like the first 3 a lot, and I'm kind of excited that they're coming out with a newer. I don't know if they're remaking. I don't think that they're remaking it. I think they're just continuing on the story, and I am excited about it, but I'm also kind of nervous because they've just been remaking so many, and I'm kind of like, get off of that train, figure out something else to do, come out with some new ideas kind of thing. So I am interested to see what they do with it. My gosh, we're down to the top 3. Ooh, like I said, I'm nervous. So number 3 is another movie that I did not see on anybody's list of top 10, and it's actually one of my all-time favorite movies. It's an 80s horror movie, and it is The Lost Boys. I love everything about this movie. It has a lot of nostalgia factor for me, and so that's probably one of the reasons it's in my top 3. And acting in almost all of these movies is amazing, so I definitely recommend all of these movies that are in my top 10 and my honorable mentions. So number 2 is actually the second movie in the franchise that they have done. And I really had some issues deciding on this movie or Lost Boys, which was going to go in the second spot, because they're very, very close tying on the second spot. And so it took a lot of time and consideration for me staring at my phone going, which one do I want to put in 2? Which one do I want to put in 3? And it is Aliens. I do love the first one. I really like the second one just because of, I think, Ripley. She's a really tough woman, and I think that she portrays that kind of better in Aliens versus Alien, just because she definitely has something to fight for, and she's like, hey, don't mess with me. You need to listen to me. Very strong female character. That's what I really like about it. I also love Michael Biehn, who's in the movie, Bill Paxton. Very big fans of them, and also Sigourney Weaver. So I love almost everything that all 3 of them are in. Okay, and I think now that we're at number 1, I think this is the whole reason I have been nervous about this list, is because if you haven't guessed it, it is The Shining, which is the shirt that I'm wearing. However, this is where it gets controversial, because most people who have The Shining on their list have the original Shining. My Shining is the remake, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, don't hate me. I love Jack Nicholson. I think he did a tremendous job in the original. There's nothing like the music from the original. It gives you chills, and the whole score of the original movie just gives you chills. And there are things that I don't like about the movie. I don't like how Jack Torrance is portrayed in the first one. I don't like that the woman who plays Wendy, I don't really agree how she was treated on that movie. So the reason I like the remake better is because the whole way that Jack Torrance is in the second movie, you can actually see that he cares about his family. I didn't really get that from the way Jack Nicholson portrayed him in the first one. And so I really like that you can see that he actually cares about his family, and he wants to do what's best for them and take care of them. Because, even Stephen King said that he didn't like the way that Jack Torrance and, everything was portrayed in the original. And that's one of the main reasons that I like the remake, is because Stephen King remade it, or he, helped remake it to the way that he wanted it to be. That's why I like the remake, okay? So that's my top 10 favorite list. Please tell me yours in the comments below. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, please leave those as well. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope that it gave you some ideas on horror movies to watch for this weekend. Happy Halloween, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!